All right, there's nothing to overreact about, but there is. At the same time, there is because the Mets started off slow last year, and Francisco Lindor has started off slow in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and now it looks like he's starting off slow for a fifth consecutive season. It is alarming. It is alarming to score one run against a guy who let up 21 home runs last year. Spencer Arrighetti looked like an ace today. That is completely blasphemous. It's the only way to put it. He pitches 6 innings, allows one hit, one earned run, and that one earned run really was a lucky run. At the end of the day, as great as Jose Siri, capitalized on a mistake by the pitcher, kind of going slow to first base. He did look at him. He gave him that look to try to prevent the run, but Jose Siri took advantage of Arrighetti going slow to first base. And without Jose Siri, we get shut out, and it's a one-hit shutout by the entire Astros team. And this is frustrating. This is frustrating because games do matter. I hate when people say early losses, they don't mean anything, because I talked about it on the pod last night. In 2022, if we had one extra win in April, in March, what happens? The Mets got a first-round bye in the 2022 postseason rather than going to a wild card round against the San Diego Padres. If the Mets lose one more game just last year, what happens? The Mets aren't even in the postseason. So every game counts, and this is a game that the Mets should have won. I know it's early. I know it's only the third game of the season, but this is a game that they should have won. They faced a pitcher who had over a 4 ERA and let up 21 home runs last year. We have Pete Alonso, we have Francisco Lindor, we have Juan Soto, Mark Vientos, Brandon Nimmo, Jesse Winker. We have a deep lineup. Brett Beatty also. Spring training, he's the MVP of spring training every single year, it feels like. But then the regular season comes around and Brett Beatty craps the bed. This is just stupid. It's stupid how bad this offense was in the entire series. We only put up, 5 runs? 5 runs. 5 runs. I get it. We faced, game one, opening day, Valdez pitching. I understand. But yesterday, last night, only 3 runs. We ended up getting the win. And then tonight, only 1 hit. And that 1 hit came from Juan Soto. So without Juan Soto, this team is hitless. Without Jose Siri taking advantage of Arrighetti going slow to first base, we don't even score. And the most frustrating part about all this is David Peterson and Kodai Senga going into 2025 without Stroman, obviously, are our best 2 pitchers. They didn't even pitch in the entire series. The bullpen didn't even let up a single run. I think they didn't. Yeah, they didn't let up a single run in the entire series because I think it was Griffin Cannon. Griffin Cannon let up the 2 earned runs, and Griffin Cannon pitched phenomenal today. Clay Holmes kept us in a position to win on opening day, and last night Tyler McGill shoved. So our starters did their job. The bullpen has looked dominant, and the offense, this offense that was ranked as going into this year, MLB.com ranked the Mets offense as number 2 in all of baseball. And this number 2 offense in all of baseball got 1 hit today and shouldn't have even scored 1 run today against the Houston Astros. It's actually sad. And for anybody watching who thinks I'm overreacting, I completely understand. It's only 3 games in. I'm going nuts right now. But it's frustrating because, like I said, in 2022, 1 extra win in March or April, what happens? We get that first round bye rather than playing the San Diego Padres in the wild card round. In 2024, if we have 1 extra loss, guess what? In March or April, what happens? We're not in the postseason. So every single game counts. We had opportunity after opportunity. We had Luis Angel Acuna on second base in the 9th inning with a chance to tie the game. Mark Vientos, I'll give him credit there. Mark Vientos hit a seed to Jeremy Pena. Hit an absolute seed off the bat. Juan Soto worked a beautiful walk. But Pete Alonso, what did he do? Absolutely nothing. What did Francisco Lindor do in the top of the 8th inning? Oh, yeah, Francisco Lindor also. I know some people don't like hating on him. And I'm not hating on Francisco Lindor. I think Francisco Lindor is a top 3 shortstop, no doubt about it. I think he's one of the best hitters in all of baseball. But in the first half, there's no doubt about it that Francisco Lindor is one of the worst hitters in all of baseball. He's starting off the season 0 for 11. He's had opportunity after opportunity so far in these first 3 games to make a moment happen and give us a win or tie the game. And what does he do? Absolutely nothing. Francisco Lindor starting off 0 for 11. Like, what is going on with this team? You look at the amount of strikeouts we had. Pete Alonso struck out. Brandon Nimmo struck out. Viento struck out. There's 3 right there. Starlin Marte's 4. Louis Torrens 5. Brett Beatty struck out twice. So that's 8, right? 7 right there. And then Jose Siri struck out 2 times too. So that's 9 times the Mets struck out tonight. 9 times. We had runners in scoring position numerous times today. Couldn't capitalize. Couldn't freaking capitalize. And not even that. I would love to complain about the runners in scoring position, but we didn't even get on base today. We didn't even get on base. We had 5 base runners the whole entire game. 5. Against a guy in Spencer Arrighetti, like I said before to start off the show, who let up 21 home runs last year. 21. And I'm not saying the Mets got to go out there and hit 9 home runs like the Yankees did earlier against this guy, but can we capitalize with Acuna on base? And I love Soto. He did drive in our only one run, and he did hit that double off the wall. So I'm not going to discredit Soto at all. But I mean, Jose Siri was on base before Juan Soto came up to bat. And what did Lindor do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Pete Alonso today did absolutely nothing. 0 for 4 for Pete Alonso, 0 for 4 for Francisco Lindor, 0 for 4 for Mark Vientos, 0 for 3 for Brandon Nimmo. I mean, Jesse Winker, I love you, but 0 for 2. You didn't really do anything today. Starlin Marte pinch hitting, facing a left-hander, does nothing. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Like, the offense has been sad. And the worst part about it is if you would have told me that the Mets let up 3 runs in their first game, 1 run in their second game, and 2 runs today, I would have said, oh, the Mets are 3-0. But no, because their offense has been silent. It's been silent, and it needs to change. Luckily, we have a 3-game series in Miami, and the Marlins absolutely suck. So if the Mets don't capitalize against the Marlins, then you know what? I'm going to be even more pissed. And like I said, the Mets, every game counts. Every game counts for every MLB team, but most importantly, the Mets. Because we are going to be in a tight race for a wild card spot. We're going to be in a tight race if we want to win this NL East with the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies in the same division. And like I said before, in 2022, I keep saying it, but in 2022, we win 1 extra game in March or April. What happens? We get a first round bye rather than playing the red hot San Diego Padres in 2022 in a wild card round. What happens in 2024 if we lose 1 extra game in March or April? We don't even make the postseason. So every single game counts. I hate when people say, I'm not expecting this team to go 162-0. I am not by any means whatsoever. But when you're facing a pitcher like Spencer Arrighetti, like I said, who let up 21 home runs last year, 21 home runs he let out last year. That's a lot. And to factor that in, Griffin Cannon shoved today. Tyler McGill shoved last night. Clay Holmes, he didn't pitch great, but he kept us in a position to win the game. And the bullpen, Jose Budo, he did his job. I thought he was left in for a little bit too long by Carlos Mendoza, but you know what? He limited the damage. Max Kranick comes in, and I love Max Kranick coming in, shutting down Jordan Alvarez, shutting down Christian Walker, keeping a clean inning, letting Soto get in that bat, letting Soto, Alonso, and Nimmo get a chance to win this game for us. But they didn't. They didn't. And honestly, the only guy I have confidence coming up to the plate right now, I know it's only 3 games, but the only guy I have confidence coming up to the plate right now is Juan Soto. It's Juan Soto. So the Mets offense has let the team down, it has let the fans down, and it's let the pitchers down, most importantly. It has let the pitching staff down, a pitching staff that has looked phenomenal through the first 3 games. And going into this year, what did we say about this team? We said, well, the offense is going to have to score 4 to 5 runs. What was I saying on these podcasts? I said, you know what? If Griffin Cannon and Tyler McGill go out there and they can pitch 5-6 innings and allow less than 3-4 runs, I expect this team to win more than they lose. But guess what? Griffin Cannon goes out there, pitches 5.2 innings, allows 4 hits and only 2 earned runs, and we still lose. Tyler McGill, he pitched great. Without Tyler McGill last night, I don't think we win that game. Clay Holmes goes out there, pitches 4.2 innings, only allows 2 earned runs, and we still lose. And the bullpen hasn't allowed a single run through these 3 games. The bullpen looks great. I can't take away anything from this bullpen. Edwin Diaz looked phenomenal last night in his save. The velocity was up. Max Kranick looking like he did in spring training. The velocity was up. His slider looked good against Jordan Alvarez, and he got 2 of the best hitters in the Astros lineup out in a bases-loaded situation. Jose Budo, yes, he did load the bases, but he had a clean inning. When he came in the 6th inning, and probably pretty clean inning also in the 7th. And then Max Kranick, like I said, pitched great. AJ Minter looked great. Danny Young facing 3 right-handers against the Astros on opening day as a lefty looked great. So it's just frustrating when Francisco Lindor, who's had 4 consecutive slow starts as a New York Met, has been 0 for 11, hasn't came through in big spots. Pete Alonso, he's had good at-bats, but he still didn't come through with Juan Soto on base. Brandon Nimmo didn't come through. Mark Vientos came through last night, so I'll cut him some slack. But Lindor, Alonso, and Brandon Nimmo, are you going to do something? Luckily, like I said, we play the Miami Marlins. Got to take 2 out of 3 because, like I said, every single game counts. I don't care how early it is in the season. In 2022, we win 1 extra game in March or April. We have a first-round bye in the playoffs. In 2024, just last year, we lose 1 extra game in March or April, and we aren't even in the playoffs. So every single game counts. Today is a game we should have won. So for all the Mets fans or any baseball fans, for you guys watching that are like, oh, you're being too judgmental. You're overreacting. It's 3 games in. I know we're only 3 games in, but this is a game that we should have won. It is just shocking that this lineup got 1 hit and probably should have been shut out if it wasn't for Jose Siri. Jose Siri, who had a monumental moment, who I would have loved if we won this game because that would have been Jose. We would have all been talking great about Jose Siri swiping home plate on a ground ball to the pitcher. When I told my friend that, hey, Jose Siri just scored on a ground ball to the pitcher, he was like, what? What? How? And we still lost this game. Griffin Cannon, 5.2 innings. He looked phenomenal. Griffin Cannon, who allowed the most earned runs in the American League last year, looked great. Clay Holmes, in his first start since his rookie season, which was in 2018, actually looked pretty good. And Tyler McGill, who's had over a career 4 ERA and has his ups, has his downs as a New York Met, he shoved. And the Mets still couldn't capitalize, and it's on the offense. It's on the offense. And I hate to say it, but Francisco Lindor, I'm worried. I am worried about Francisco Lindor right now. And I was talking about it yesterday. He had 4 straight slow starts. 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. We always talk about why hasn't Francisco Lindor made an NL All-Star team? I'll tell you exactly why. It's because every year in the first half, he doesn't perform. In the second half, he plays like an MVP. And come the end of the year, I'm going to be raving about Francisco Lindor. But right now, I need Francisco Lindor to perform well at the start of the season. I can't have the guy who finished second in MVP voting, the guy who's probably one of the best hidden shortstops, probably one of the best hitters, probably a top 15 hitter, I'd say, in baseball, start the season 0 for 11. I can't have him come off to a 5th straight slow start. I cannot. All right, I'm done talking about the Mets. Let's talk about some good stuff in the New York baseball world. Let's talk about the Yankees, who set a record today. 3 pitches, 3 home runs to start the game. It felt like Nestor Cortez was still playing for the Yankees with the way he pitched against them today. Capped off a 20-9 win over the Milwaukee Brewers. Aaron Judge hit 3 home runs. I thought he might have even had 5. He just missed 2 other home runs. Like, that's insane. The story of the day for the Yankees, outside of scoring 20 runs, is the bats that they use. They have these like new style torpedo bats. But you know what? They're legal, at least for now. So I can't blame them for using them. I can't. They looked great today. Like their offense was insane. It was insane. Yes, they made 5 errors. Max Fried didn't look great. Don't get me wrong. He didn't look great. And they did make 5 errors. But they also scored 20 runs. Cody Bellinger, I thought he was going to have a big year. So far, he's having a big year. Paul Goldschmidt leading off the game with a home run. I still don't think he can catch up to a fastball. Everybody's like, well, he hit a home run off a fastball. Yeah, but it was also a 90-mile-per-hour fastball. I wouldn't buy into Paul Goldschmidt, but I'd buy in, obviously, to Aaron Judge because Aaron Judge is the best hitter in baseball. I'd buy into Cody Bellinger because Cody Bellinger could have a great year hitting in front and behind Aaron Judge, depending on the matchup, lefty-righty. Austin Wells. I mean, Austin Wells, what's not to love about Austin Wells so far this year? Anthony Volpe, so far 2 great games out of Anthony Volpe. I mean, like, what is there to say bad about the Yankees to start the year? Tomorrow, we got the Yankees playing, no Mets, but the Yankees got Marcus Stroman on the bump. So maybe it's a little bit of a reality check. But you know what? If the offense is swinging the way they've been swinging the bat so far, I mean, in game 1, they win 4-2. Austin Wells hits a big home run. Anthony Volpe hit a nice home run as well. Aaron Judge, he did strike out twice, but he got a base knock and he drove in a run. Cody Bellinger went 1 for 2 with an RBI. And then in game 2, I mean, what is like, you really can't complain even about the 5 errors. And yes, they gave up 9 runs, but in the 20, when you score 20 runs, the other team is going to eventually score. And they're probably going to score a good amount of runs. They're going to. So, and they had Carlos Carrasco pitch 2 innings today, and we all know Carlos Carrasco at this point in his career. He let up 3 earned runs at the end of the game, and you know what? He was just in there to get some outs and kind of fill the gap a little bit because he's going to start. He's going to be their 5th starter, but they have a day off on Monday, and I think they're going to be rolling with, if I'm correct, they got Will Warren lined up to start. Marcus Stroman is starting tomorrow, obviously, and I think not Max Fried. Carlos Rodon is going to be going on Wednesday. So they kind of could have used, they did use Carlos Carrasco, right? So I like that decision from Aaron Boone, not wasting the bullpen. But Jason Dominguez going 1 for 3 with a base knock, worked 2 walks today. Trent Grisham went 1 for 4 today, got on base twice with a walk. Jazz Chisholm, 2 for 5. I've been saying I think Jazz Chisholm is going to have a great year. And I mean, Aaron Judge, he was the player of the game. He had 14 total bases. Aaron Judge, 14 total bases. That is outright insane. And Paul Goldschmidt, like I said, I don't think he's going to be catching up to the fastball all year long, but he did have a good game. I got to give him credit. 2 for 3, leadoff home run on the first pitch. Cody Bellinger, another great game out of him, 3 for 5. Cody Bellinger's hitting .571 so far. I know it's only 3 games, but still pretty cool to see that number. And then with a 1,500 OPS. So good for these guys. Good for the Yankees. Ben Rice came in for Aaron Judge. He went 0 for 0, didn't get in that bat. But like I said, I think Ben Rice is going to have a very good year when he gets those opportunities. An interesting lineup for sure from the Yankees, but that lineup worked. They mashed Nestor Cortez right away. Like I said, Nestor Cortez, it felt like he was playing for the Yankees at this point. So overall, great game for the Yankees. Going to be fun to watch them tomorrow at 1:35. Marcus Stroman on the bump, taking on Aaron Savale. Aaron Savale just last year only pitched 74 innings, but he did have a pretty good year. He only made 14 starts, 3.53 ERA. But the Yankees did face him a lot in 2024 when he was with the Tampa Bay Rays. Pitched 17 games in 2024 with a 5.07 ERA. But then again, you know, what Savale are you going to get? What Marcus Stroman are you going to get? And if you get the offense, even if the offense scores 5-6 runs, well, then you know what? The Yankees are probably going to be in a good position to win the game. Because first half, Marcus Stroman, last year in his first 12 starts, he put up a sub-270 ERA, captured 6 wins in his first 12 starts. So Marcus Stroman, opposite of Lindor. Lindor, slow start in the first half. Stroman, hot start in the first half, falls off in the second half. I expect Stroman to go out there and have a pretty good performance. But, you know, overall, fun day for Yankee fans. Terrible day for Mets fans. It sucks. It sucks. This offense for the Mets, needs to get going. Mets play Monday against the Marlins. David Peterson, who I expect to have another great start, and I expect Kodai Senga to have another great start. So the Mets pitching, definitely intriguing to start the year, but they need to score runs. Need to score runs. Like I said, if you would have told anybody that the Mets would have let up 3 runs in game 1, opening day, 1 run yesterday, and only 2 runs today, you would have said the New York Mets would start the year off 3-0. And like I said before to start the show, every single game counts, especially with the division that we're in. Because if we finish 1 game back, we're probably not going to be looking back at this game, but you could make a case that this game could cost the Mets down the road. Because like I said, in 2022, we win 1 extra game in March or April. We don't have to worry about the San Diego Padres in the wild card round because we would have gotten the first round bye. Last year, we have one more loss in March or April, and we're not even in the postseason. But then again, we're only 3 games in. I'm not going to overreact, even though I did overreact this whole entire 20 minutes just now. But that's it for today. Yankees, great job if you're a Yankee fan. I'm giving you your flowers. Fortunately, the Yankee fans who have been hate watching really Juan Soto, they haven't really been hate watching the Mets overall, but they've been hate watching Juan Soto. They really have nothing bad to say about Juan Soto because Soto so far this year hitting .333, a clutch home run yesterday, a clutch double today, came up with a clutch RBI today, only hit for the Mets today. So they really can't hate on Juan Soto too much, but definitely not a fun time to be a Met fan, at least through the first 3 games. Hopefully, Monday, I'm a little bit more happier. Like I said, I expect David Peterson to come out with a great game, but before I do get off, I do want to touch on Max Kranick one more time. Max Kranick, first time pitching in 2 years, comes in, faces Jordan Alvarez and Christian Walker, and shuts them down with the bases loaded. So good for Max Kranick. Outside of that, though, I hated this game. All right, that's it for today. Have fun on your Saturday night. If you're not, if you got work tomorrow, go to bed. If you're out, with your buddies, have a good night. That's it for me. Deuces.